Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
I'm not ready for your intro because you prepared it so far in advance it scares me.
Is it episode 11 or is it the Roman 2?
I mean, yes.
LL.
Oh, LL, okay.
Hello, everyone.
Greetings. Welcome to the most official Star Citizen podcast ever created.
I also want to interrupt Eris's intro.
Go.
The Fulbert humpt from Tweg to Plinbull. Poor shiver carfast and Beltoy befundle. Cracket to Doddle, Swimdle, Plinget Nakara. Archeticon Ringlerd, Grublets on Splint. Okorathon Relay Station.
Bames Trond is having a strong...
Okay. That's it, everybody. Thanks for coming. Hope you have a good night. Oh, wow. That's something. So,
Look, David is Lewis Carroll confirmed. if David was Lewis Carroll confirmed, I would actually believe that Lewis Carroll was Jack the Ripper. I'd believe that theory if he was Lewis Carroll then.
Is there a theory that Lewis Carroll is Jack the Ripper?
I'm not sure if it was Lewis Carroll. There was some author who's been accused. There was an author and a painter, I think, who was accused of being Jack the Ripper because the works, and you can't be a disturbed mind or a creative mind without being a murder. It's one of the... Yeah, we're going to put those people over there.
One of those theories, yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Relay Station, or...
Thank you, Dash.
Byron.
Sorry.
I mean, yeah.
On Dash for that.
Sorry, we spent the 15 minutes before this show talking very animatedly about Star Trek, and I'm having to mentally shift gears from
just about
to that other Star
about Margot Robbie. I mean, Suicide Squad.
I'm having to shift gears from a space and lasers over to space and lasers. So
it's a big shift.
Yeah, it's killing me. Right.
So what are we talking about?
I think we got a lot to talk about, actually. I'm trying to decide where to start, and I think we're going to start with some of the videos from the monthly report.
Yes, there were some excellent ones.
Yeah, so give me a second here.
Some that blew my little brain.
Let's go to this. Let's go to... I had some things prepped for this week, but, not all things. So give me a second.
Before I forget, I'm going to quickly mention... because I'm totally will forget otherwise. If anybody has been waiting for it, I did do a bit of an update to the crowdfunding sheet, so it's more up to date for this year.
That's fun. Am I any better there, Sargarath? Let me know if I am better.
I'm not sure if he was complaining.
Fuck. Shiver, we missed you. This show's no good without Shiver.
No
It's
one
a lot
gives
more
anyone
boring,
abuse
that's
without
for
me
sure.
here.
So we've got some docking and undocking, I suppose.
I love that. I love this clip because at the beginning you're like, "What are they showing me?" Because you can't even see the ship coming in.
Yeah.
Then it's just there, and you're like, "Oh, right."
Kind of
I love
feel
how
like
well this all came together.
it's quite good. I'm excited to
Is
see
it there
this.
yet? Is it there yet? Is it there yet? Is it there yet?
Is it?
Is it there yet?
Is? Are we docked yet?
No. Now we are. Bam. Done. Victory. So what were we gonna say there, David?
Oh, I'm really excited that you know, ship to port docking is coming along well. I'm also really excited for more ship to ship docking. Docking is good. Docking is important. Yay, docking! It's really
Yes.
hard. Look, it's really hard to have a space game with giant ships that have to do things without them being able to dock to other things and each other. So
It's also something that most space games don't even bother attempting. They're just like, nah, you'll just fly into a big hangar. Or land on a big pad.
I like that,
We're not
Andrew.
going to try. We're not even going to try.
I like that. It's another one of those like, oh, these are the things that Star Citizen is doing that are just like, guys, you can fudge some things,
Nope.
You are allowed to, like, every once in a while.
I was 100% sure it would only be auto docking, and then they're like, "Nope, you can do it yourself."
Yeah. I like this animation. Opening the wall panel, and I'm assuming it's components in there. I couldn't really tell. I think it's like the
Oh my god,
the components.
I can't
hidden
see it yet,
behind...
but yes, I'm gonna tread into some shiver territory here. I nearly had an orgasm watching this video.
Like, I love the little
Orgasms are shiver territory?
Yes. Yep.
frequently.
I expect royalties from the porn industry.
But I love how he, like, tweaks his nose. He rubs his, like, the back of his head a bit. It's just...
I really, really, really like these animations. Like, holy crap, are they ever good?
I mean, it's... He reaches in and grabs the thing and, like, actually jiggles it a little to get it out. Like, when
Yep.
you're unseating electronics, you got to jiggle it a bit. Once,
Also,
twice, but if you jiggle it 3 times, you're playing with it. So
You can 100% tell that they did performance capture for this shot. Because it's really good.
but
They
if they're
set up
doing-
a thing.
If they're
They
doing
set up a thing
performance
and they actually
capture
had
for
a guy.
this,
Yeah.
what are they not going to do performance capture for is my question, or are they just doing it for everything? Have they just hired like a couple of actors and are having
easier. I'd say it's easier.
It's probably easier to do performance capture than to do hand animate it all. Yeah.
And they'll probably do a mix and match as well, so you don't have the same animations constantly playing, because otherwise that is going to look weird. And if you've got the performance capture to move around with it, it gives you an easier base to work with rather than just having to move an entire arm and move the entire body from scratch in a way that looks natural, and animation
just-
is hard, yo.
You know, they talk about immersion so much as Star Citizen. This is the shit they're talking about, though. Like, it's the attention to detail. There's so many little things in this scene that are just way beyond what they needed to do.
Okay, look,
it's
hang
really
on,
good.
hang on. I just figured it out. The absolute epitome of Star Citizen's immersion and attention to detail. Now, you know that we have bespoke animations for things like taking components out of stuff, and we know that there's just a nuts particle system going on.
Mhm.
So, and we
I'll
know
have
that
you know my nuts are bigger than particles, thank you.
they're filled with them.
You don't know what I was doing before this call started.
Fair enough. I'm just picturing a janitor sweeping up dust, and the dust is like fully physicalized particles, and like
It's gonna happen.
no,
Painful,
No.
but it's gonna happen.
don't do it.
So you're saying there's going to be sweeping changes in game?
Oh, good.
Invented a new type of comedy. It's called dustpan.
I'm trying to think of something with mop up, but I'm just going to move on.
Hello, Jake.
Oh,
But
it's
if you
Jake.
did think of anything, it would sweep me off my feet.
But yeah, I just really like the idea that you're going to be able to walk, because if they're doing this for NPCs, they'll probably be able to do player animations as well for those components. I just really love the idea of being able to actually like reach in and grab the like capacitor out of the fucking thing and replace it.
That is going to be one of the problems with performance capture doing the animation, because CIG aren't going to just be happy with generic performance capture, reach into box, grab thing out of thin air, which is where most companies would just be like, fuck it, that's all right, looks nice. Cool.
No.
They're actually going to want the hand of the player to get an actual object that's in the box, and
Yeah,
that's
as
gonna
Darge
be a
says,
pain in the ass.
as Darge
I mean,
says, that's where
hand.
IK comes in.
Well, I mean, they're doing
That's
it right.
true. That's
Look,
true.
it's doing it right here, right? There's two different animation playing, and they're picking up two different magazines in each animation from different points around the box. Right?
Yep.
So, and I don't know if
This
that's
one's a little less clean than the last one was.
but it's still
it's
cleaner
pretty
than
good.
any other video game, more or less.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, the question here,
That's where they're putting the time in, is making all these little things that are in this box part of the system that it knows it can grasp onto.
well, the question here would be: are these each bespoke, or is it like is the animation running up to the box and crouching bespoke, and then the grabbing the particular magazine is that IK?
You're probably dead on with the second one. That's my guess. Is that the run up and crouch is all one animation that is fairly standard, and then what he's reaching for is where they use the IK, is my guess.
Yeah, and they probably, just to save time and effort, put it so it's only going to be affecting the arm that's reaching out and grabbing. Because if you look at the animation, the rest of the body of the animation, it's still virtually the same as each one.
Yeah.
So cool.
I mean, you might, and that's
That's
know-
where they're cutting the corners.
I-
Those little
What-
bits that you're like, "Whoa,
it's
okay."
fun because I know a lot of I've had dealings with people
Cutting
that
the
do
corners.
like animation, that do like 2D
Yep.
animation, and one of the things they always say is they can see, like, if they're watching an anime 2D animated movie, they can see the frames. Like they see where all the whereas most of us just ignore it, they see it. And I feel like some animator, some person that their job is animating stuff is looking here going like, oh, there it is. And we're here spent, 10 minutes poring over it being like, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of which, this is totally a thing for game show, but I have to say it because it drove me crazy. So I'm gonna try and encapsulate this in as short a point as I can. CIG is supposed to be this, scam and everything, and blah 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 blah. And but one of the things I've noticed over especially the last year or so, animations are getting to be really, really good. And then you have big developers under big brands with enormous amounts of money, like the folks making the new Age of Empires. And I tell you, it looks really bad. Like, really, really bad. And the animations are horrible. I'm like, so what's going on here? I'm gonna say I prefer CIG's method of developing to whatever that is. But one of the things to bring it back fully to Star Citizen, I have really noticed over the last year that walking and running animations have gotten so much better. They are really good now. Have you seen that as well, Shiver?
Yeah, all the animations in general are just getting more and more refined, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Vastly
For sure.
improving. Not that they were bad when they first came out, really.
No, they're just getting like, oh man, some of them are so good.
Well, and something I find funny, and I think I was talking to someone about this in Discord. Don't remember who. Trying to think of like trying to show someone Star Citizen can actually be somewhat difficult sometimes, because like I think back to some of my favorite videos of Star Citizen. One of my favorites is People to Planet. Another is Imagine. The Imagine trailer from like what, 2015?
It's old. Yeah.
But they're so old now. They no longer apply. Star Citizen, and you look at Star Citizen now versus Star Citizen in, what Chris showed off in 2012. And
oh my god. Yeah, I know. It's
the difference
come a long way.
It's come a longer way than almost seems reasonable for a video game. Like it's at some point you got to stop and finish it, but no, they're just constantly improving everything, which is honestly, I think it's in part a measure of the amount of funding they have, because at no point have they had to say, oh well, this is art is done and we'll finish other stuff, or coding this is done and we're going to move. Like they're still hiring even, because they just keep adding more, and they don't ever like stop production on something. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. I don't have any comments on it, but yes.
All right.
I'm sort of erring into that territory, though, where people will say, well, because people keep pumping money into the project, they never have to finish the project, because they'll just keep money coming in, because if they don't ever finish it, then you're not erring into that territory?
They can make a lot more money if they release the game.
Well,
that's what I have always figured, If that is the plan, that's a terrible fucking plan.
The other part of that, of course, is they'll make more money when it actually comes out, but also they'll make even more money than that if they continue to support it to this level once it comes out, right?
There will always be new tech coming they can implement. There will always be new methods that they can bring in to implement. And once you've released the game, you've got a much bigger backbone, obviously, to build upon. And let's say we're at a point in time technologically where you could have photorealistic graphics in a game, and it's doable. As long as you've got the basic code in there, which they still haven't got. Let's hands up. Yeah, I'm not saying they have, but once they have got a release game, updating a graphics engine is a hell of a lot simpler than making a graphics engine.
Yeah, especially when you have a lot of those people in house.
Yeah, I think
it's a lot harder. I think it's a lot harder if you are using someone else's engine. Like a lot of the developers that use Unity, for example, it's like, well, I can't change Unity. You know, like,
well,
it is what it is.
And part of the thing, like, lots of developers can't change Unity. You're stuck doing Unity, whereas CIG do have their own engine, and they do have an entire Frankfurt. They have an entire
Studio?
Frankfurt.
Lighting is fucking amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, studio. That's the word.
Is
They do have an
amazing.
entire studio that just fixed the engine for them more, right? And yes, the lighting is. It is, the lighting is astounding. I mean, it's
a good example of what you can to show just graphical improvement would be Elder Scrolls 3 onwards. It doesn't matter what label Bethesda Studios want to slap on that fucking engine. It is the Game Brio engine that they've been using since Elder Scrolls 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And look at Morrowind, look at Skyrim. There is objectively a graphical improvement.
Mm-hmm.
That's they were done in 6-7 years gaps, most of them, apart from Skyrim until now. Where's Elder Scrolls 6? Bethesda?
From what, and not only that, but I've heard Elder Scrolls 6 is not close at all. Like,
no,
very far.
No. It's
I mean,
elsewhere.
who doesn't want to replace me lamp, Jake? Anyway.
Yeah, Starfield is first. Yes,
Starfield, which
this year apparently.
we'll see. I mean, we should. When's E3?
That's the rumor. June.
That's gonna be fun. I'm gonna take some time off for that.
Will Bethesda be showing anything at E3? Don't they have their own thing?
Yes. They will be
they're-
at E3.
They're Microsoft now.
Yeah.
So will they be part of my? Anyway, that's game show talk. That's game
This is
show
all.
talk.
This is all. These are all rumors, but the rumor is that they will be, and they will be showing things. Yes.
I forget where I was gonna go. I was gonna go somewhere. Right. I want to move to this.
The moon.
Now,
Since you're already there.
this is the project tracker, or the progress tracker, which had an update this week. Now, I do need to find, here it is, the roadmap roundup. There's one feature for this progress tracker and roadmap. I think I'm going to go to,
There's
this.
so many features now. There's all sorts of features.
There are a lot of good features. There's one main feature that I still want is I want like a little asterisk or something that shows me, hey, this team has something new this week. You know?
Or something changed.
Something changed here. But
That's the roadmap roundup, apparently.
it is.
Our buddy Jake writes it.
Yeah, so we're just gonna. I've got that on another tab, so I'm just gonna read that out. A bunch of stuff was moved out. Physical QT movement was moved out. Phys area refactoring moved out. Water physics, Grim Hex race, prisons v3, dynamic population, bounty hunter.
Now, for clarity,
Yeah.
what does moved out mean?
Moved out means they are temporarily coming off of the progress tracker until they reevaluate schedules or higher priority features are completed. They will go back on the progress tracker once they're back in line. And as Jake says, they were all Q4, so there was always going to be questionable as whether they make it this year.
Are you saying the water physics was fluid? Just go with the flow, Eris. Go with the flow.
Here's a question. Since it's now gone from the roadmap, does anyone know what physical QT movement meant?
Quantum travel is
Moving in
physical.
quantum travel.
Okay, but what does that mean?
I don't know.
Rather than being taken off a grid. As far as
Don't worry,
server is
don't worry.
aware.
Jake's got us.
So wait,
He's
does that mean like
sensed
if you
it,
hit?
yeah.
Fuck it.
Does that mean if you hit something when you're in QT that you actually like blow it up, or what's
I
going
hope
on
so.
with physical?
I hope so. Performing the QT movement within physics, along with efficient empty space checks along the QT path to determine when to drop out of QT if a potential intersection might occur.
Okay. So it's actually happening physically within the physics part of the engine. Cool.
I like it. Cool. Okay, so
So
where
it can
we
actually
go-
detect when it's interacting. Hey, unlike most games where you could just fly right through things, where you're like engage warp drive and you go right through a planet. It's great.
I'm wondering the size of things that will stop you. Like, can you still QT through a asteroid belt?
It's a good question.
No, with a but. You would have to be plotting a course that doesn't intersect with any physical objects in your path, making the question move effectively. And if there is something in your
I
path,
think I would
then there will
actually-
be an emergency stop.
I think I would actually really like that, because you could plan your QT to the asteroid belt, and then you'd have to manually navigate the asteroid belt, and then you'd have to resume your QT after it.
Mm-hmm. Which makes more sense as to why asteroid belts are referred to in the lore as physical barriers.
I like it.
Like, in the way of things. Like, there's a few systems where they wrote descriptions about how it's really hard to get from one side to the other because there's these big asteroid belts blocking.
Well, that, you know what that also does? That also makes asteroid belts significantly more dangerous, because most of the time you're just QTing, it's harder to stop you. But when you get to an asteroid belt and you have to stop and you have to fly through it manually, well, that's where you're going to get hit by pirates.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Pirates.
And then the pirates are going to get hit by pirates, and the pirates are going to get hit by more pirates.
Those are called anti-pirate pirates.
No, because they're still stealing. They're just stealing from the pirates.
No, they're called
Yeah,
privateers.
they're called anti-pirate pirates.
Oh, okay. And then there's going to be the anti-pirates.
They genuinely are. That might be too meta at that point.
Oh, okay.
But probably. No, wouldn't they just be called pirates?
I don't know. Would they? At what point do you go back to pirate? Or at what point are you?
We call them additional pirates.
Oh no, then we call them police.
Or supplemental pirates. Anyway.
Police seized 30 tons
Oh,
of Widow from
Nightbot.
pirates this morning. Hey, what happened to that 20 tons of Widow? I don't know. There's a ton of Widow here.
Jake, I can't fix it. You won't let us mod you. Jake
Do
won't
it.
let us leave
Post
him
the
as a
thing.
mod,
Thank
so. You spend like 6 years working with a guy. Oh, I'm
Okay.
liking that.
So,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Now, I want to talk about the new teams. There's 20 new teams that have been added. Or actually, no, we should first talk about some new priorities for the USPU team. 3 new deliverables, which were added to Progress Tracker.
Mm-hmm.
One is selling, so the ability to sell items back to shops.
Which is obviously a
Important.
good thing to have. And also
important.
critical for any kind of a loot system to actually work.
And
Good.
any economy, obviously.
Yep.
In any economy, yeah.
The next is persistent hangers.
Oh boy. See, here's my question. Does that mean persistent as in the stuff inside your hanger is persistent? Or does it mean its location within the world is persistent?
I really
That's
hope
my
it's its location in the world is persistent, and it goes along with persistent halves, as in your halves location in the world is also persistent. But I don't know. I suppose we could. Where are those?
Where are those on the progress track? It's just about that.
Can I go to deliverables and search?
Yep. Should be able to search.
Persistent halves. Work that grants players the ability to have their own persistent halves. Hangers. Work that grants players the ability to have their own persistent hangers. This will also bring changes to the cargo gameplay loop by allowing players to pack their grids manually.
Intriguing. So that the work for persistent habs and hangers goes through November.
Yes, it is. We are looking. Actually, I've got to change this to
Starts
years.
in-
Sorry.
Starts in
It's-
July. Yeah, those two features are being worked on together. My interpretation of that is that it will allow you to have a persistent hanger in the world somewhere.
It looks like they're the same thing. I mean, it does say here the developer's time on this deliverable is striped to denote that they're a part-time resource, splitting their time between this task and one or more. One would think that these two are, together. Anyway, let's go back to teams.
It ties
Hey!
in with the cargo being placed manually because then the game has to track where you've literally placed this cargo, and they're like, well, at the same time, why don't we just fucking have everything that you've put in your hangar tracked as well, because it's the same basic system.
And in your
The
hab.
same basic
Basic.
system.
Completely basic. Yeah.
So keep in mind a couple of things that we should point out here. Before we probably have to reiterate this a couple times over the year. The progress tracker currently ends in Q4. That doesn't mean that whatever ends there is actually coming out then. It means that they don't have Q1 in there yet.
Yeah.
So there's a decent chance those things aren't going to be done. I do want to call out.
By that point, won't we all be turned into giant Cronenberg monsters by the vaccine anyway?
Yes.
Okay,
Definitely.
can I tell a very, very brief thing about that? Because I think it's really funny.
Go.
Friend had a friend who was worried about the vaccines turning everybody into zombies, and then she found out she needed a vaccine to travel, so then she wanted the vaccine.
I'm against this thing until it puts me out, and then I'm in favor of it.
Or more to the point, if she thought it was going to turn people into zombies, she's totally cool with being a zombie.
As long as she gets to travel. Yeah.
Yeah, traveling zombies are cool. That's basically the.
Look, if everyone's going to be a zombie, you might as well be a zombie too, because otherwise, your brain's going to get eaten.
Good point. Good point.
Okay, so we've got 20 teams to go
Oh,
through
man.
quickly. Let's do this. AI content team. Oh, can you guys see all this? I hope you can. You should be able to.
I can see.
Good.
Looks good.
Excellent. Okay, so AI content
Hawker?
team. What's that? Sorry?
AI Hawker?
Yes. Hawkers are going to be like people who sell things.
Get your street
vendors.
meat. Street meat here. Red hot, juicy street meat.
Exactly.
Can use that for docking.
All right, let's go,
Yeah, I thought-
David.
yeah,
You're going
Dodge
too
and I are
slowly.
both like,
You
I
gotta
know.
keep going. Come on.
It's called falconry, isn't it?
Illegal goods dealer. That's a roaming vendor that brokers illegal products. That's good. Anyway, more vendors, more shops, more vendor behaviors. Excellent. Always good. AI tech and feature team. Here we go. Some interesting stuff here. Go ahead, Shiver.
I'm really loving the idea of this AI. I hope when this is coming out, we get, either a Tony Z video or a Sean Tracy video just sat there for an hour explaining the methodology that's going in this AI, because it seems, to oversimplify it, a series of flow charts. If this state this, if that state this, and all these constant checks being done, and which is a fantastic way to do it because of the amount of options it will give the AI. And not only that, but then the system basically has a template that you can say, okay, so this is the pirate AI, and it's, if booty present, yar it. If no booty present, don't yar it. And then you can just change that over to bartender of, if person says what's been going on here, recount recent events, or pour drink, look glum.
If dead but not if dead but not dead in an alternate universe, Natasha Yarrett.
Oh God. Oh.
I saw this because it's totally aside, but we all play STA. I saw this great meme the other day of picture of Tasha Yar going, "What? A black puddle? I don't care. I'll just go through it." And then the picture of the DM D&D guy just going, "And you're dead."
Yep.
Game over.
So, AI EVA tech. AI will be able to navigate via EVA in open space to points of interest.
Yet another thing a lot of games just wouldn't bother with.
Yes, but also, and I feel like this is more important than we think about, but will allow the AI to transition from seat to EVA when requested or when appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. AI
Also,
super important. Yeah,
I cannot wait.
Pun, Jake.
I cannot wait for the bugs that surround this. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
You're going to be flying along and you're going to stop your ship and just all your crew are just going to jump out the airlocks. Be like, okay, what's going on?
Realistic weapon handling, adding functionality for AI to evaluate their proficiency with different weapons and use the one best suited to the situation. I love this idea. I don't know, just...
Can you imagine the bugs with this one as well?
I can.
We're going in for a close-range boarding action. I'll take this sniper rifle. I'll take the railgun.
But just the idea that, like, normally in a game, AI is AI. This is your sniper AI. This is your shotgun AI. This is your, your assault rifle AI. Like, anyone with a sniper rifle has... This is, like... They're not doing that. Each AI will have proficiency levels in the various weapons. Mm-hmm. And if... I guess I could be completely wrong here, but I'm thinking of Breath of the Wild. In Breath of the Wild, oftentimes the moblins, they're dancing, they're having a party, they're sleeping, whatever. Their weapons aren't in their hands. Their weapons are off, next to a tree or against a log. And when you walk up and start killing them, they startle and run for their weapons.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea in Star Citizen is people startle and run to the weapons. They run to the ship lockers to grab weapons. They might not necessarily grab theirs. They might grab the first one for which they are most proficient.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's so cool.
Yeah, but then from a technical standpoint as well, you've also got to have the backup systems in case, you've got multiple members that are proficient with, let's say, an assault rifle. Let's say you've got 4 people proficient with assault rifle. You've only got 2 assault rifles. They're also going to have to program in the fact of, as a secondary weapon, I'm good with a potato gun or something.
But it'll have all their proficiencies, right? It'll say, I am expert
And they're actually
lever.
aware. Well, saying they're aware of
yes.
them really over, but I'm going to just go with aware because it's the most suitable word I can think of at this time in the morning. They're aware of what they can also grab to be efficient and keep themselves alive and be useful.
Yep. Now, this one's also, I mean, it's not as cool for us, but it's really handy for, everything else. Subsumption editor integration, recreating subsumption editor's functionality inside the engine to allow easier setup and debugging subsumption logic for the designers. And I'm wondering what else that might allow if they've got it in engine and can just change things on the fly and do things on the fly. 'Cause
Well,
it's
one thing is it just makes their lives a lot easier if they can put whatever they've built into the engine and then see how it actually works, and then
Yeah.
instead of having to go back and then re-export it to the engine again, they can just change it in the engine live.
Yeah.
And that's like amazing.
it's huge.
Awesome.
Okay, next
These 3 NPCs are all going for the same assault rifle, and then because one of them gets it, they just stand there, drool. Oh well, let's
fix it right
and
away.
See if we can fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta change the statement.
Audio was added. I am gonna skip audio. There's a lot in there.
What the fuck?
Okay, Shiver. Crusaders Hercules Starlifter A2, C2, and M2.
Oh yeah.
For audio.
Keep talking dirty to me, baby.
Dynamic event audio.
Oh yeah.
Force reaction
This is
audio.
things. You should slow the fuck down, Speedy Pants. Like, what if someone sat there going, "What's dynamic event audio?" Well, I'm glad you asked, simpleton. It's because if there is an event going on, let's say you're just cruising around in hyperspace. Okay, let's just say you're cruising around and you've got this calm, serene stuff going on, and then all of a sudden, oh my god, pirates! Cue action music. Get the adrenaline flowing because it adds to your immersion. Everyone drink. A good example would be, let's say, Portal 2. A couple of the puzzles there, you just walk into a test chamber and it's this regular music. You activate one of the jumping lifts and it's got this dynamic action music as you're jumping through, which just adds to this, it adds to things. Don't overlook audio and the amount it can add to a situation. It makes things a lot more cinematic. It makes things a lot more adrenaline pumping, or it can even do the exact opposite if you're just cruising around in space and you've got the Song of Wales going on.
The ever present thing for gamers. Why is the boss music playing?
Yeah.
And like Jake says, audio touches the whole game basically. It does, and it's one of those things that if it is done well and it is done correctly, you just take it for granted.
It's not to skip audio because audio is unimportant. It's to skip audio because all of this is all stuff that's touched elsewhere in the report, and audio is just saying audio is being worked on it. That's all. And also because there's a lot of them, so.
There are 22.
34 deliverables in audio.
Oh, sorry, 34. I misread.
Character art and tech team. Couple cool things in here for character art that I wanted to touch on. One, backpacks. Backpacks will support physicalized inventory and a scalable system for equipping backpacks onto a variety of armors. Good. Backpacks are important. Couple new suits. Character attachment volumes. So volume guidelines for weapon and item attachments on characters to allow for better design implementation. I'm assuming this is basically like, here's the armor, this volume is restricted to this block here is restricted to this block here is where the sidearm goes, these blocks here are where all long arms will go, etc. Still good. And then, here, cybernetics concepts that will go towards the eventual implementation of the Death of a Spaceman gameplay. Cybernetics.
Yes, please.
It's being
Yes,
concepted
please.
in June. I want to see that. Anyway,
Cyberpunk in space.
Yep. More backpacks,
I mean,
more characters.
Hang on.
Sorry, go ahead.
Jesus, Speedy
I'm
Pants.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Do you think cybernetics will actually have any kind of bonuses? Do you think we could
Yes.
spend that extra bit of money to actually have a robot claw arm? Or do you think they're just going to be literal limb replacements? And in which case, if they're going to have bonuses, what's going to stop me from wanting to chop off my own left hand so I can have robot chainsaw hand?
EMP.
It's expensive. Oh, also EMP. But yeah, it's expensive.
It'll come with drawbacks. Yeah, you'll be able to use it'll be, let's say stronger or better, but it'll take more damage from energy weapons, lasers and plasma and whatnot, and who knows?
Also, every time you die, you probably have to replace them.
Might require insurance on it.
I would like to insure my body parts.
You say that as if they don't do that today.
I'm really, really interested to see how in depth they go into cybernetics, though. Are we talking like you can get cybernetic eyes, so you always have a HUD, even if you don't have a helmet? Are we talking full limb replacements? Are we talking like what level of of cybernetics will we see?
I don't know. I'm curious as well. I think they're going to go pretty far down the rabbit hole because it's CIG.
Also in here,
we in the calling all devs from a little over a week ago. They're like, hey, so we could just make refueling gameplay easy, or
yeah,
or
or
you can select which tank you want it to come out of, and which tank it comes out of has effects on gameplay because of course the fuel weighs something, so it can destabilize your ship, and also you have to manage the pressure within the tank, and the more pressure you use, the more the faster you can fuel somebody, but it also can blow things up, and oh my god. Down the rabbit hole we go.
I think it would be interesting if you get better fuel by mixing two different kinds of fuel, and then you'd have to, combine the two fuels and send them out at a certain, percentage points of one and the other, so that you're not
spicy hydrogen.
I don't know.
Spicy hydrogen.
They just throw in some peppers in the tank. Anyway, this whole character art and tech team, it's actually a good look through. There's a lot in there. A whole bunch of different outfits and enemies and jackets and some pyro system stuff in there as well. Completing initial foundational work to get to implement pyro into the game, done in June. So that's kind of cool.
Aside. Elworks just asked, I would want to try a level at least of Squadron 42. I'm wondering, actually, and this when he said that, it made me realize, how do you think they're actually going to set Squadron 42 up? As an old school level 1, blah, 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 debrief, some sort of loading screen, level 2 starts, or something like that? Or do you think it's going to have a more narrative flow, off the top of my head, Star Trek Voyager Elite Force?
I think you're going to load in
which
one
case the levels are almost going to be...
Go ahead, Eric.
From what I've heard from the people working on it over the years, what I think we'll see is that I think you were gonna say this, David, but I think the only loading you'll ever have is when you die and the first time you load into the game. And you'll go out on a mission, you'll come back from the mission, you'll go into the ship, you'll interact with people, you'll get a new mission, you'll have to go report to somebody, so on and so forth. I don't think that there'll be like oh, your mission's done. Zoom, you're instantly into the ship or
free
anything.
flow single player game.
And
Which
the chapters are like just whenever you finish this fight, that's a new chapter. You know, that type of thing.
And I think there might also be like side branches. Like you might be able to talk to someone on the ship that gives you a side thing to go do that would branch out, but you'd still be returning back to the ship and then finding the next main mission, like rolling that way. But yeah, I think once you load in, that's it. You're in. I don't think there's going to be like what? No, actually, no. Hang on. We know exactly how this is going to work. We know that there are going to be debriefs. There's going to be that debrief screen where you get your statistics and get all that stuff, but it's going to be live in game. You're going to sit down at a debrief with your commanding officer, and he's going to have your stuff on a screen.
Debrief doesn't necessarily.
Cadet, you really suck. Look at this right here.
The debrief would just be, this is your mission debrief. This is what you did. These are the things, the accomplishments, and then I would imagine the free flow things is after that you walk out of the debrief room and you go and talk to Spirit and Paladin and whatever the squadron equivalents are, and then maybe you go to your bunker, go to sleep, and you wake up the next day and it's like, now you're ready for mission 2 or something.
Well, it's going to be
But
like
I don't think
you
they're
talk to someone.
Sorry,
go ahead, Eric.
Fill out paperwork.
I was just gonna say I don't think they're gonna force you to do anything. I think you're gonna get quests like a more modern way of doing narrative flow. I think you'll get a quest that's like, hey, you need to go, or tasks that are like, hey, you need to go and do this. You don't have to do it instantaneously. You can go wander around the ship and talk to people and, pick your nose, eat your magically disappearing food in the galley that David always talks about. And then, or you can just go straight back to your quarters, go to sleep, wake up the next day and, go off. But I think you'll have a lot of freedom in that way. That's my interpretation of what I've heard.
Okay. Gonna move us on.
Sorry
a little
to
bit
distract
here.
you there. Sorry.
No, that was good. Cinematics.
That was awesome.
Cinematics we're skipping because it's just cinematics for Squadron 42.
Cinematic 1, Cinematic 2, Cinematic 3.
No, there is no Cinematic 3. Some are missing. There are only 17 deliverables.
1, 2, 3.
Interesting.
I think she was in 4 as well, but that's when she went into like Secret Service equivalent of the Confederation. I think.
28
I feel
total
bad
chapters.
because I played Wing Commander, but I was young. I don't remember the details.
Wing Commander was an amazing thing. It was so good because you just bought this game and you're like, oh yeah, whatever, I'll just play the game. But then it had like actually in the box a magazine from in-universe on your own ship telling you these cool things. It had the blueprints of the ships that you would play with, just like Star Citizen's doing, It was really cool.
David, apparently you missed something.
Yeah, no, I
Jake's
see
very
it.
angry.
I see it. It's here. EUPU gameplay future team. Environmental gameplay. New activities that are focused on gameplay in the environment, expanding interactions with objects placed in locations, and new dangers in the environment, both natural and human-made. Thunderstorms? Sandstorms? What are we getting here?
Human storms?
Just a giant tornado of people and
Exactly.
limbs and torsos. They call it a blood-nado.
It's the concept that these are alien planets. The alien environment itself can be an enemy.
Mm-hmm. By the way, did either of you watch Star Citizen Live this week?
No. Did not have time.
Repeatedly, Todd Pappy referenced creatures inside asteroids. Repeatedly.
Good. As they should be. Shiver's gonna like this one. Long distance probing.
What you're inferring? Please explain.
Well, what? Man, Nightbot. What just happened?
That wasn't Nightbot.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I see.
Oh, what
Sorry.
made a pretty good pun. To be honest, you know how people are with puns.
So
He got
Angry at them?
punished.
Oh no.
uh,
I see it. Sorry, my thing takes a while. It was a good pun though, I will say that. Long distance probing allows the player to launch quantum traveling probes that can detect signatures at extreme ranges far beyond the reach of ship scanners. The signatures can ultimately be used to identify point of interests and plan quantum travel. This is exploration.
yep.
I mean, it's not just exploration; it's navigation too. If you want to, like this scenario you were saying earlier with the asteroid belt, see if there's any pirates camping out outside the asteroid belt, and then plan accordingly as well.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's yeah.
It
This is
also
good.
just points to a much bigger. I mean, it's yet another thing. It's a much bigger game system. Like, you aren't going to only be aware of the things that are immediately around you. You can send out probes and explore things that are not local to your character or your ship.
Yeah.
Also, absolutely fundamental for people who are actually doing the like super crazy long range exploration, who are going to like brand new systems that are undiscovered, because you'll need these probes when you get into that system. You need to send out probes so you can sort of get some idea of what the hell is in the star system.
So I don't know if they're going to do it, but I'd really like them to do it. And they probably won't. Let's be completely clear here. They probably won't. But it would be really, really cool if they just gave us probes. They gave us probing and probes. And we had to find, like, the jump point to Pyro. With our probes.
I mean, that'd be great, except I think that Pyro's going to be in before long distance probing is done.
I know, but I want them to just
Have
give us
terrible ideas and concepts for how people need to test a game.
That would be a great way to test.
It'd be a terrible fucking way to test. Because
Why?
then people are actually going to have to go and find it, and then you want as many people as you can testing it.
But aren't you testing the finding of the thing in the?
Yeah, but there's
You know what I mean.
much better ways to do that. Just have things and reasons to make people go and use these probes. But if you've put in a whole entirely new system, and a way then to get to the system, you want to stress and test that system with as many people and bodies as possible.
The other
However,
possible.
on paper, it's a wonderful idea.
Thank you. I'll take on paper at least. On paper, the next two here are the best news in a significant amount of time. Loot generation. Loot. There literally isn't an MMO without loot. You can't make a MMO without loot, okay? So, loot generation tier 1, the system that generates containers through the persistent universe that contain dynamically populated randomized loot.
That's actually tier 0 that you just read.
Sorry, tier 0. Go to place. Oh, look, here's a crate. Open crate. Oh, look, there's a pistol. A thing. Randomly generated loot. I'm excited for this in so many ways, because one, there's going to be a purpose to go places and explore and find things and get to the bottom of that mine shaft and get to the places where loot might be. And two, we might see what dynamic, because loot matters a lot in MMOs, right? You start with your first dagger that's a little white dagger that does no damage to anyone, and you end up with, a series of purple legendary stuff that like the progression in loot. How is Star Citizen going to handle that loot progression? And we might finally start seeing some of that. What are they going to do? How are they going to let you continue to grow? I can't wait.
Yeah,
I mean,
it'd be
I
good.
don't like the word progression being put into Star Citizen.
Sorry, not progression. But we kind of have an idea of how
Alternatives, choices, tools.
we kind of have an idea of how they're going to do it, right? Because we know that there's going to be weapon modification in the game anyway, right? So you might find a pistol, like let's say you've got two identical pistols. Well, one of them that you've just found might just have been modified to be better in some way, but at least there will be that, and if they can start including that that variation of quality. What is that? What is that? Why am I in an Easter basket?
Just a hand doing that.
Why am I doing this? I love it. I don't get it, but I love it. Anyway, loot, okay? Loot is super important. And then the next one, tier 1. Not only are there going to be randomized loot containers, there will also be they can be locked. We're going to have a system to break into locked containers, which means that we can have locked containers. And we might have permanent anyway, just the possibilities are mind-blowing in my personal opinion.
I'm looking forward to finding an Ankaran sarcophagus filled with dynamite.
That sounds interesting.
That's a reference.
That sounds like. I was gonna say that sounds like a reference.
It's a reference too.
It should be noted that whereas a lot of the things we're talking about are like going through the end of the year, loot generation and tier 0 is currently underway and will be wrapping up in May. Tier 1 starts in May and runs through August, the end of August. So it's coming.
It's coming. Mining components we have seen.
Yeah, and that's that work is already done. It was done in January and February.
But mining gadgets here is a new set of things that you will physically place on the mineable to affect it. So I'm thinking, dynamite, or you stick like a vibrating thing. You stick a vibrator.
Stick a vibrator on the rock.
You stick a vibrator on the hard thing and vibrate it until it goes soft. Which I think is backwards, but whatever.
Shiver's giving you a look.
You'll never find the right spot.
The next one up here is resource management, which is extremely exciting.
Yep.
This system will handle the resources for stations, settlements, cities, and all other locations. It will also unlock the engineering station gameplay for ships, letting players manage power, CPU, fuel, shields, coolant, etc. Yes, please. What do you think about that, Shiver?
I think he thinks something bad. He's not allowed to speak.
I'm thinking back to what Eris was saying.
Okay,
and I was saying,
see.
I was thinking if they could place something vibratey tooly, they could, maybe mark the spot with a little G.
Not a bad idea. What would you call that spot, Shiver?
Probably the X spot, because X is a universal symbol for here.
The G Taurus.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Ship to ship refueling.
Also good. I think we all sort of understand that one. Your ship
Yep.
and the other ship will
And
mate and pass fluids between each other, and then
yeah, pretty much.
one of them will be fuller of fluid.
It will fly away.
I hate you so much.
Why is that, Shiver?
Oh dear.
Why is that, Shiver? All right. God, where are we? We're not even halfway. Facial
We're
animation.
a third of the way through. Yeah. Let's go.
Facial animation.
Eric, take over, for God's sake.
Facial animation's good.
Go.
Everyone likes facial. Fire Sprite team. We know what Fire Sprite's team is working on. They're working on Theaters of War. But surprise, surprise, down here at the bottom, updates to Broken Moon and Dying Star Map.
You might want to, yeah.
What?
It's a very long description for Theaters of War, Crossroads of Crime.
It's lore.
Okay.
It's lore about the map.
Okay, cool.
The map is called Crossroads of Crime. UI stuff is good.
It'd be so cool to fly through those original star maps again, with like having them fully updated. Because man, I have some memories.
Yeah. No, I think it's important to note that Fire Sprite aren't only working on Theaters of War; they're also updating some Arena Commander stuff, which is good. Yeah.
Wing Commander.
Arena Commander.
Oh, I thought you said Wing Commander. I was like,
no. Gameplay story.
No, they're not going that far back.
Gameplay story is the squadron.
Story about the gameplay. Yeah.
A bunch of the chapters of Squadron. We sort of get that one. Lighting. They're lighting stuff like Crusader, Hospitals, Orison. Lighting is important. Makes things look good.
Also, for those folks working on the roadmap, want to give you a huge shout out for all of the really cool new features on here. Like being able to expand the Crusader thing and seeing a picture of Crusader and a link to where it is on the release or on the deliverables, you know.
Yeah, this and having this link here that will take you to, oh look, it's release view on the oh, here it is in 3.14 tentative Crusader.
Very cool.
Can I just click back and go? Yes, I can. Excellent.
Miraculous.
Flawless. Then we've got location concept art. A couple unannounced ones here. This one's finished. Whatever this one was, it's done. But they haven't announced it yet. And then whatever this one is, it's not going to be done till late this year. Still cool to have them on there. Modular MTL. Does anyone know what the acronym MTL stands for?
Montreal.
It is. That would be Modular Montreal. This is location art, Area 18, Levski, Lorville, New Babbage, Orison.
So now we know. Now we know that that currently Turbulent is working on the hospitals for various locations.
Yep.
There's 5 hospitals there and building interiors. Very cool.
And building interiors create gameplay-focused layouts to fill the interiors. So, good. Motion capture team. Now, we were talking a lot about motion capture earlier, actually, because it's really cool. But they've got a bunch of work on healing. The improved player status system focuses on implementing additional statuses, specifically intoxication and effects from drugs, and the associated functional and visual feedback. It also allows players to use items with healing properties such as MedPen. So,
those bugs are going to be fun.
Does this just mean they're getting a guy drunk in a mocap suit and having him wander through?
Yes. I'm sure there's some interesting legal implications to all the other ones, though.
I mean,
CIG Amsterdam opening soon.
look, it depends. No, because they can just do it at Turbulent. It's already legal here.
No, not that. Okay, yeah, that's not what I was thinking of. I was thinking harder drugs than that,
I know.
considering what they're looking at having in Star Citizen.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you imagine? They've got to sit around and have a discussion. It's like, all right, we need to have a talk about drugs. What does Widow do and how does it affect you? Imagine how that conversation and that meeting's going to go. That's going to be the most surreal meeting that people have
guys,
had in a while.
have any of you tried crack? Because I think it should probably be like crack.
Oh, God. Sorry, that was excellent. That's exactly what I was thinking too.
I'm sorry.
Oh, man. That's great.
Oh,
Okay.
It's just comes in. So have you heard of bath salts?
Okay.
Terrible.
Narrative. Oh, what am I doing? Where?
I don't know. I don't know what you're doing.
Okay, narrative. Asset Manager. In support of localized inventories, the Asset Manager keeps track of all player-owned items, where they're stored, and where they need to go to pick up, transfer, and equip them. I'm wondering, like, what is this?
What is what?
Asset, like, what does that mean?
The asset manager tracks all of your player-owned items. That's what it does. So it's like a service that's running on the server.
Okay.
So it'd be a service running on the server that's tracking all of the items that are owned by, various players and so on.
For a sec, I was stuck on drugs and thinking. Like,
and so
is this
this
a person?
also
Because I work with asset managers a lot at work, and I'm like, why? This doesn't make any sense. Sorry, brain fart.
No. This is gonna be a service in the back end, almost certainly.
Good.
And the important thing with this is that it basically is keeping track of all your shit, so that when you ask the game where your doohickey is, it tells you where it is.
Hopefully in my pants.
You'd hope, depending on the current definition of doohickey, anyway.
Let's move on to props team.
There's nothing else you wanna talk about from narrative?
No, we've already seen all that. I think, according to Jake.
Cool. Sounds good.
Stuff we've already seen, so we'll skip that. Props. I mean, there's not really much here to pick out in particular, except that CIG's. Wait. New deliverables on the persistent tech and network teams. Those aren't included in the new. Fine. Right. Persistent tech. Okay. Network team. New deliverables. Oh yeah, here it is. Sorry. There's no little star that shows me.
Fuck.
Anyway, network team.
Jake's just sat there going, God, now I know what it's like. We look at you and you are a little bitch.
I know I'm a horrible person.
God.
Anyway, persistent streaming and server meshing.
Those aren't important, are they?
No, I don't think so. This is why
should be noted. Go ahead.
No,
go.
I was just gonna say, this is why nobody likes Jake's. He points out completely unimportant things that we missed, like server streaming and server meshing. Completely unimportant.
Something that has
big bitch.
something I'd like to point out. Just because this goes through, so this is work going on this system, right? Just because this work goes through the end of the year doesn't mean they can't release something using this tech before then.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have various iterations of these things. Like we're going towards server meshing, but there's going to be intermediate steps along the way because doing it all at once is impossible.
And you need each brick in the wall, so to speak, to be as good as it can be. And if the next brick in the wall is fucking up the previous brick, you need to look at which brick of those is there, because otherwise, you know, it's terrible. It's not exactly the greatest analogy, but if you put the whole wall up and then it turns out this brick towards the bottom is fucking everything up below, you've got to get to it. And then because you've changed that, the brick on top may not.
So I think I think what we've got here actually is persistent streaming and server meshing that you can see that runs all the way to the end of the year. That's the end goal. Hey, thanks for the sub, Richard. The other things that we've got here, Atlas, Entity Graph Seeding, Hybrid Service, Replicated, all these others, those are those interim steps that we're seeing, because probably, you know, next month or the month after, we'll get a new set of interim ones in support of the end goal type of thing. So the associated targets will change, but I think they're all in support of server meshing, which server meshing is the most important feature for Star Citizen, quite frankly. And I think at some point,
I mean, it's not just server meshing, is it? It's getting Vulkan in there as well. It's getting all of these bits working well, working together. Even the physics grids are coming into this. All of this for more and more performance. And then hoping.
That's what they were talking about too this week on Star Citizen Live. Is someone asked them, you know, will you get better performance with 313? And they're like, yeah, we think we did something that got us another frame or two. You know, they're like there's no quick wins here. It's very slowly we knock down all the problems until you get decent performance, but nothing gives you a magic bullet. Over time, you just get better and better and better.
Now, I will say, if at some point we do get a favorite marker for this roadmap, this would be a lot of stuff to favorite, because this is where we need to see, right? Network team, and if we go down here, persistent tech team, inventory system, again, persistent streaming and server meshing, player account entitlement.
I feel entitled to an account.
I hope so. But these are the things at this point that are going to make the game function the way we hope that it will.
Yep.
Fingers crossed, big asterisk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all unknowns at this point. It's like, in theory, this could help, and it might not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
no guarantees.
There's also some new stuff on the Planet Tech team, but I don't know what, because there's so much here. Underwater rendering, that's cool. Terrain snow displacement.
Wait, what?
Terrain snow displacement. Implementing the tech required for impressions in the snow when a person or vehicle impacts or travels over snowy terrain.
Ooh.
Canada. Implementing Canada. Underwater rendering, that's going to be good. It does. I don't know if anyone at CIG has actually gone out and said at any point, yes, you will be able to go underwater, because I remember a long time ago they weren't sure.
Yeah, you will.
Well, we know we will. They're working on underwater right here, right? Like it's going to happen, but
they've said lots of things. Yes, you'll be able to go underwater.
Yeah.
So are you saying they're going to sink some time into it?
Yeah.
Oh, also, this one's apparently new too. Rivers and roads, procedural generation tech to create rivers and roads placeable by artists across planets.
Which we've seen.
We've seen
Yeah.
both of those. Also, really important. Like the planets are really cool right now, but they are missing something, and that is like roads and rivers and like a more.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
So actually I don't. I think I may have cut you off a little bit too early on that one, and I apologize for cutting you off at all. But they that card in there, that deliverable, is actually not for what we saw. This is for the actual procedural generation of those things, not for the ability to do them at all.
No,
right?
it's procedural.
So this is going to be the procedural part of that whole thing that we already saw in ISC.
Yeah, because we've seen in ISC the
manual placement.
The manual placement of roads, like click here, road will generate between them. Click here, river will sort of generate between them. But now they can't. The size of the planet, they
can't be manual.
They absolutely cannot click manual. They need to have that tool for when they want to place it for story reasons. For, we want a road here to here that does exactly this because there's going to be we want to drive gameplay reasons for it. But for the planet itself, it has to be procedural. They cannot get away with it not. Oh my god.
They need a driving reason for it.
Yeah. Otherwise, none of it's going to flow.
And I'm sure that they will steer it in the right direction.
Look, if they can't get this to work, the whole game is a load of bilge.
Where are you dredging that up from?
All right. Where were we?
Okay, put both hands on the wheel and take charge.
I'm checking out the tech animation team right now.
We are on to Squadron 42 feature team.
There's not much in there.
Well, there's Reputation version 1, Reputation and Org Service. First iteration of persistent reputation between all entities within the Star Citizen universe, as well as persistent NPC organizations. I believe this is something we've already sort of got in.
So this is interesting. This is a Squadron 42 feature team thing that is only being made for Star Citizen right now. It doesn't have the Squadron 42 logo beside it. Very interesting.
I think that's an oops. I think that's an oops on Jake's part.
Yeah. Come on, man. There's only like a billion things on this list. Come on.
I think the idea of this is reputation, right? It's you will have reputation with people in Squadron 42 that will persist. So I think they've worked on reputation for Star Citizen, and now this is them making sure that the same reputation system works in Squadron 42, so that the reputations are identical. One, so that you've got a reputation system in Squadron 42, and two, and this is me completely theorizing here, but two is so that at the end of Squadron 42, the reputations that they have can be ported over to your character that carries on into Star Citizen, because remember, Squadron 42 is a prequel to Star Citizen itself. So the reputation of some characters will follow through.
Yep.
And in some ways, Squadron 42 is kind of a very in-depth tutorial on what you can expect in Star Citizen as well.
Yep.
A very in-depth tutorial, like 40 hours.
So what's Squadron 42? It's a tutorial.
Oh my god.
All right. Where are we at here?
We are at the tech animation team.
So there's a couple in here I really wanted to point out.
All right.
There's the creature rigging pipeline.
Ooh. Development of a creature and creation of internal rigging pipeline for creatures. Excellent.
Yep. And like a lot of these don't really mean anything to most people, like RAP3 batch interface.
Yeah.
Okay. But Xi'an facial rigging.
Yep, that's important. They're not normal faces.
And that'll work. Also, it's worth noting that work is happening right now.
Yeah.
Also, if they're doing facial rigging, it means they already have the Xi'an characters created, the character model.
You missed the most important thing in here: weapon attach
I'm sure
points.
I
Update
did not
and-
consider that the most
update
important.
and Jake, you've got an error here. Sorry. Update and expansion of. That's. Is that
No,
technically?
that's correct. I have to update an expansion of the current development toolset
It can't be.
for authoring and maintaining weapons. What? Expanding the toolset.
Update and expand the current development toolset, or like I don't know. The update just doesn't seem like a
It's
plural
fine. Fine. Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it, Dave. Don't worry about it, Jake. That one's not very egregious.
Giant.
I'm sorry. It hurts.
Best Jake impression ever. I'm sorry, Jake.
Never mind, Jake. It's not important. Okay, UI feature team. Oh,
More building blocks work.
this is UI feature team. Is
Yep.
this Zane's team or is that UI tech team? I don't know. Make stuff look
I actually
pretty.
don't know.
Make UI look pretty. Tech is Zane. Okay. Respawn screen. That's important. Shows their spawn location and any relevant information. There's a couple
Hey,
things. Sorry,
In
go
May,
ahead.
they're redoing the options screen. Think Jeebus.
Oh yeah, option screen rework. Oh, the settings screen makes me so angry.
It's not great.
It's not great. A lot of UI. Hacking tier 0 UI, generic ship screens. I think that's pretty important. Generic UI screens that can be used in all future ships. Yeah, more UI. And then over at the UI tech team, more
Important
UI.
stuff in here.
And also, yeah, map
Yes.
and radar system.
Map and
rework.
radar system rework, an overhaul of the underlying system and associated UI for the star map, radar, local area map, and mini map. Most of which we do not actually have right now. But the star map is getting rework. That work starts in May.
Just
Also,
the leader of China, right?
You'll
behind
also
me.
What?
you'll also notice that if we take a quick step back to the UI feature team, they are also working on that map and radar system rework, and they
Yes,
are
they are.
currently working on that right now.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum.
And radar scanning and ping. This is in for 3.14. Yeah, better radar, better map. Particularly in the map and radar system rework. Particularly overhaul of the UI for Star Map is good because I hate it.
The star map was great when it came in because we didn't have a star map at all before that, but it was thoroughly temporary and it needs to go away. Or more to the point, it needs to be much, much better than what it is.
Team. And then the last one here is VFX team.
Visual effects. What interesting things are they doing?
Jump points. They're doing the visual effects for jump points. That's going to end before July. The art on it, anyway.
They better freaking do an ISC on the visuals. For jump.
And the effects for salvage.
Ooh.
All back-end tasks related to creating the first pass of salvage that will be used in the future.
315 for that one.
What did I skip now, Jake?
Then he said, "Thank God you got it." and then oh my god, David
It doesn't.
doesn't necessarily indicate you. Okay.
I love the fact that I
Oh,
could actually
yeah.
picture him saying that as well. Oh my god, David!
Jake, if you're talking downstream, so I'm gonna run through this. So here we have the VFX team. It is a downstream team, which means that all of these deliverables here, we only see them from April to June. Later in the year, we'll get another update to see whether they're continuing what's going on. We really need something that says whether or not this is a downstream team, because
Yes, I would agree with that.
there needs to be something that says almost like, so you know how these are rounded? Rounded should indicate that they're continuing past that, whereas these ones should be square, indicating a stopping point or something. Like, I know it's in the roundup, Jake, but I'm not looking at the roundup right now. I'm looking at the
You shouldn't have to look.
Humongous.
Shouldn't have to. Shouldn't have to look at two things. There you go. I said it.
Wait, where is it in the roundup?
Does anyone else keep moving their mouse over to the screen and then trying to scroll down and like, oh yeah, shit, that's not, yeah.
Oh man.
I don't think that's in the roundup. I can't find it. That's fair.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There's this third paragraph. Well, third paragraph of the roundup at the beginning talks about downstream teams.
Downstream teams. But it doesn't say which ones are downstream.
That's a good point.
I'm just saying there should be a way to determine which ones are downstream, because I don't remember. I've got a very bad memory to begin with. Anyway, yeah, that's the roadmap roundup.
Oh, that's actually a really good way to think of it. Nothing ever ends on the progress tracker until you see it on the release view.
True, but if I'm looking at this, okay, hacking to, oh, it's on release view. Okay, unannounced, not on release view. So is this done?
No, it means it's not done. So it's
This
released.
is on the release view. This is not. I don't know. I just...
Yeah, that's right, Coffee Gaming.
Yeah. Look, I'm just here to try and provide my thoughts, you know?
Titanic bitch.
I am a Titanic bitch. Yeah, you're right. I am. I love it. I really do enjoy it. I think the roadmap's great. It's really nice being able to go through and see not only the progress, but be able to see, oh, this is what this means. Because for a long time, we had to sort of guess at what was going on, right? I mean, that's kind of why we're here, is that we guessed for a long time at what was going on. And CIG have done a phenomenal job of making it so that we're no longer needed.
Yay!
Yay! No, honestly, one of the happiest days of my life was when CIG started putting out their own monthly report so that we no longer needed to do it.
Yep. Jake made Relay redundant. Right.
CIG have spent years making Relay redundant, which makes me
Fine with us.
Which makes me believe that Relay served a purpose. It has said, "Hey, CIG, you guys should cover this," and then they did.
Well, I think that's about. Shiver needs to run away,
Yep.
so and we're over time on the show, so we should probably work on saying goodbye to our lovely audience here.
Well, should we not answer the questions? They're pretty
Do we have
concise,
How many-
quick and easy.
Ooh, we have
Yes.
questions. Ooh, I like questions.
I also like questions. Oh, we've got a couple. All right, let's Shiver, how much time do you have? 15 minutes?
20-ish.
All right, let's
I mean,
do
I
it.
love you all to bits, but the appeal of raw fish is more enticing.
I would do
Mhm.
anything for
Gonna
sushi. Here we go. Captain Penis. How are you feeling about the project overall and the speed at which progress is being made? Let's start with Eric, roundtable, quick.
It'll never be fast enough, but I also want them to take their time. This is the problem of every gamer. I am not upset about the, rate at which they're making progress. There's a lot of really cool stuff in the works right now, and they've shown a lot of really interesting things over the last few months. Not all of them are in the game yet, but they're showing their work. Thumbs up.
Shiver?
Basically, what Eric said, yeah, it's taking a long ass time. It's going to take a long ass time. Whatever.
They're not taking a long time. They're taking pretty much exactly the amount of time to be expected. Look at what's happened when Cyberpunk came out, and they've now spent the last 6 months just trying to fix the mess that they had in the first place. It should have come out 6 months to a year after it did, which would put it only a year behind probable release date for Star Citizen. I'm saying 2022, 2023. So you're looking at Cyberpunk and Star Citizen being the same development time, more or less. Star Citizen being an infinitely more complicated game that's being made. Timing, no, it's taking the amount of time that it should. They're telling us way more than any developer has anyone ever told anyone, so we're getting exactly all the
That
info
I'll
we need.
definitely agree with.
The speed at which progress is being made. I think there were times in the project that speed of progress was bad, but those were also early in the times when you've normally never even heard about a game project. At this point, I think speed is going phenomenally. Look at what was done just in the last year during COVID. I think they're doing phenomenally. And do I wish it was out already? Yes, but
I think they kicked ass during COVID. They
Yeah.
did a great job.
Just absolute A+ for that, and I'd rather it come out and be good than be broken. I'm not saying that it's going to come out and be good. I'm saying I'd rather that. Time will tell.
I have a fair amount of confidence that they can put it out and have it be decent.
So do I.
When it comes out.
Elwook asks, should ships drop components you can grab and equip at a truck stop? Too far off for implementation? Drop? No.
No, they shouldn't drop them. You should be able to go up to a ship that you've disabled or destroyed and take the components off of it. Yes.
Yep.
So, salvage and various degrees of damage. So you've got a 0.1% or something chance that it's not been damaged in the explosion. And
Yep.
But otherwise, yes.
Well, that also provides the benefits for disabling a ship rather than destroying it.
Oh, Jake just made a great point. Did you guys see the Gladius updates where they opened
my
all the
God.
hatches?
Oh, it's amazing.
Wow. Honestly,
I think that's the final implementation not final
It's the
implementation.
gold.
They have all of the bits and pieces on the ship now.
yep.
I don't
For the
think they're all
Gladius.
interactable yet, but they're there, which is so cool. It's amazing.
It looks amazing. Elwook also asks, would you rather be surprised by a Xion or a Vanduul probe? I feel like the Xion probably makes smaller probes, so I'm going to go with Xion.
They're probably less
less-
spiky
Random
too.
probe's probably
Less
spiky.
spiky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to quickly. I don't think we answered the second part of the question from the last one.
Oh, sorry.
I actually don't think we're ridiculously far off implementation for that because we just need to get. They're working hard on that stuff right now. Once they get the components properly in the game and salvages properly in the game, I can see it. I could see that happening possibly this year. Possibly.
Yeah.
Not that it will.
Elwook also asks, "Can I be the drunk mocap guy? I'm Canadian. I'm certified." You know what? One of my
Thumbs up.
greatest, sort of off topic, but one of my really big regrets with Star Citizen is a long time ago when they first got their mocap rig. One of the things that they said they were going to do was take that mocap rig around to all of their conventions and scan fans' faces.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Then
what I
they
want.
saw faces, and they were like, "No."
Never mind. I would have shaved my beard for that. And I ain't shaved my beard.
I would have
for
shaved your
nothing.
beard for that.
I think they took it to like one convention and then not again. But yeah, I know a couple people got scanned. I think a couple people actually got invited to the studio to get scanned. But none of those people was me. Which is really what I was going here for. Agent 1213 asks, "Will NPC crew be able to contact us if we're not on the ship?"
I would think so, just on your Moby class.
Yeah, I'd think so. Captain, we're under attack.
Probably like even the most basic of effective email systems. You know, your ship is being attacked.
Yeah.
Love and kisses, Joe blogs.
Well, I mean, we do already have the like video communication system with like ATC, so I would imagine you
Yeah.
probably have a pretty sophisticated ability to talk to your crew.
Yep, I would agree. Agent 1213 asks, "With the mention of persistent hangars mentioned in the weekly letter, will that mean all the flare we've purchased will be able to be spawned there?" Probably not all of it.
I think so.
I mean, if not on release, then later down the line. Otherwise, what's the fucking point of it?
Agreed.
I think for hangars maybe. Actually, yeah, I guess hangars. I think
That's a question.
sorry, I'm dumb. I think for HABs, some of it's going to be size dependent. Like you won't be able to fit everything into your HAB that you can into your hangar. But
As envisions of someone trying to carry a jukebox up a ramp.
but yeah, I don't see why you couldn't put all of your flare in your persistent hangar. And last question, Agent 1213 asks, "Will we be able to sell our ships in the released game?"
Yes,
Yes.
almost
They've got to
certainly.
find a workaround for that, because they have also said that any ship you've bought for real life money will be permanently tied to your.
Probably won't be able to sell those. You won't be able to sell any real money ships. You will only be able to sell in-game purchased
That's
ships.
likely. That's very likely. But I think anything purchased in the game should be able to be sold in game. I think it would be very interesting to have like a used market for ships as well, and have like this ship has missing a wing. This,
Yep.
this ship has holes everywhere.
This ship can fit so many holes.
It's just I 100% get the vision of that scene from Firefly when Mal is ship shopping on the in the frickin' desert on this planet with all these decrepit ships around.
I need anything that'll fly me off this goddamn planet.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, we have reached the
Well, that was
end
awesome.
of the show then. Shiver, what do you got coming up? I know you've got a lot.
This week it's Vampire the Masquerade. On Wednesday, we're carrying on our Victorian Age Chronicle. It's been pretty good, I think. Experience that over on Table of Horrors.
Check it out. And Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, game show.
Yep.
Ooh, bits.
Real space stuff. Very quickly. So the flight of the Mars helicopter was supposed to be tomorrow. Ingenuity, of course, was supposed to be tomorrow. They ran into an issue. They're now saying no earlier than like the 14th, but that's still only 4 days away. So it's gonna be soon. So keep an eye on that. It's gonna be really cool to see a helicopter fly on Mars.
I'm really, really excited for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've
so
just
Jake,
been
Jake,
informed.
go.
Captain Richard is on Soul Citizens tomorrow at 8 p.m. ET.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh. Go
check
watch
that
Soul
out.
Citizens. It's a great
Soul
show.
Citizens are fantastic. The yeah, like Jake says, come on down to the games show this week on Tuesday. Jake's going to talk about the latest contemporary video game release, Devil May Cry. I am going to talk about Outriders, and I'm not sure. Is there a? I'm going to have to check if there's a. What's that? NDA. I don't think there's an NDA for the Diablo 2 technical alpha, so I'll probably talk about that. I'll have to check.
That will be fun.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go play that now. Actually.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Have an awesome weekend.
Thank you all so much for joining us. Stay safe.